Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and a link in the info box below this video once the video has rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. There are a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number one, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show, as sharing the show increases the live audience, of course, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you are new to the channel or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we're joined by Arwin and Sleeping Warrior. How are you both doing?
All is good. All is good.
Good indeed. Good afternoon.
Afternoon. Good show yesterday with Patricia. Nice to watch.
Yeah, not bad considering it was impromptu without any warning. Shout out to the guy that let her down. I was really looking forward to watching his hangout, but ended up being it, so it was all good.
Yeah,
It was awesome.
Got a message from it really late, and Patricia saying, "Do you want to join?" And I'd given my wife the night off and looked after our daughter, so I was playing with her and stuff. And by the time I saw the message, the show was already running with you guys on it. I was like, "Oh, brilliant! I'll stick this on in the background." Great. Didn't get to chat very much, but yeah, generally it was nice to actually sit back and watch one of these shows rather than actually be making it as I'm doing right now. Fiddling around with stuff.
It was nice to do the show without being watching the back door all the time, knowing it was a closed link. So sitting back and just chatting was great.
Not a Battlefield.
Distinct lack of trolls as well. It's nice.
A lot of trolls in the chat.
Oh, you
Hello,
do.
Ruhif. Good
You
to have
always
you.
do.
Here comes another baller with no evidence. Morning, Ruhif.
Good evening, Anthony.
Evening.
Indeed.
Oh yeah.
It'll be morning in about 6 minutes.
Oh, it's quite late. Yeah, it's quite late today, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm staying up anyway for the Department of Justice conference. Press
Right,
conference.
is it me or is he quite quiet?
No, it's all good. At my end.
No,
all good.
I don't know.
All good. Your volume's
There's
nice.
a press conference in America in an hour that I want to watch.
You want to watch an American press conference? Why would you want to do that?
Because I'm curious.
About what? What is the press conference about?
Well, hopefully it's a few more indictments in the Russia case.
Oh, okay.
Russia case.
So, have you managed to find any curvature with your P900 yet?
I haven't used it actually. I bought a tripod today and a bigger, faster memory card. Yeah, I haven't really used it. Like, what would you like me to do?
I think everything you do with that camera will show you the Earth as it is. You can only point it and press the button.
Yeah, but is there any particular observation that you'd like me to do?
Oh yeah,
And like I said to Anthony, yeah.
Yeah, find a lighthouse. Do you know whether there's any lighthouses near to you?
There's one on Sydney Head, but getting a long distance line of sight is, not easy.
You don't need to be. It doesn't have to be long. It just needs to be like. I mean, how many miles can you get?
I can have a look now if you want.
Yeah, because you can
For this
do it on
particular
like
one.
6 miles. I mean, I think the 5's kind of like the minimum, really. But I mean,
Yeah,
6
see, I
miles
even doubt
starts
that.
coming in.
I'd have to be heading inland up what's called the Parramatta River, which goes basically from Sydney Heads to the west. And I don't think I could get 6 miles in a straight line there.
Oh. Just find a particular.
I'll check.
Find
I'll check for a lighthouse up the coast. Like there's, I told you the other day about what was it, Longreef.
Right.
So there's a little, what do you call it? I don't know, little pointy bit of land off a place called Collaroy, which is not very far from me at all, and you can see north quite a fair way from there, maybe 30 k's or so. So there surely should be a lighthouse up there somewhere.
Dawn, the backup channel, is requesting that Nathan please unban my main account, Nathan. I'm a wiggly worm, please.
No, I don't. No.
He's asking, is the link working? Yeah, the link
Yeah, I
seems.
think it works.
Ruhi,
Okay.
did you get the link or did you join some other way?
I just got it off the watch page.
Yeah, so the link is working.
Yeah,
Make sure you bring some evidence with you.
I've got a question for you, Ruhif.
It didn't work the other day.
A bit confused because I understand why we, and in inverted commas, flat earthers, if you want to look at it that way, why we would go out with a P900 to examine the accepted standard that is the Earth. But for you, is it not just consensus opinion applies and everyone thinks it's a ball anyway? Why would you be investigating it? I don't understand. Why do you need evidence going forward if it's already accepted?
This is a purely psychological exercise for me.
Yeah. Is it not evidential?
No, I'm comfortable with my own proofs to prove that the Earth is round. This is more an exercise of whether you guys are convincible.
But if it's a psychological episode, why would you need a camera for psychology? I don't see the cause.
I just like the toys. I like collecting toys.
No, that's a better
Right.
answer. I'm
Yeah.
much more happy with that. It's like people have got cool cameras that zoom a lot, and I like toys too. So that's a better answer if you ask me. Great, that satisfies me much more.
Yeah.
You know, I'm asking you guys to tell me how to use it, basically, and whether you want me to make certain observations or, you know. I mean, I did actually go to Longreef one day.
Stick it on auto.
Bring up. Yeah. Oh yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, just stick it on auto, go on points and click. Mark, Doxy, you there?
Yes, it's me. Hiya.
Yo.
Hello.
No, it was a dodgy account, Nathan, so that's been removed. So, yeah, just go and find something that's relatively low to the horizon, say like 100 feet or so. I mean, you're in a weird position, really, because you're like an island looking out, and there's nothing on the. You don't have many landlocked areas unless you got a cove.
There's no concave sort of, you know, looking across a bay to somewhere of any distance.
What you should do is go and see how far away you can see Alice Rock. Is it Alice
Rock?
There's Rock,
Uluru. Yeah. They renamed it Uluru like, I don't know, 15 years ago.
Are you familiar with Jerem's experiment? Jerem's point on the longest straight road in Australia. It's one of the longest roads in the world. Jim Sarden's. Oh no way!
Yeah, I just wasn't quite quick enough that time. Got the last 3.
Yeah, I got the last 3 as well, but I gave him a little too long. Oh, we need to get Ruhif in. He shouldn't be the victim.
I can't help that. What do you want me to do? You've come in and sniped him.
Really getting really sad, guys, that you're sniping your own ballers now. Seriously.
Ruhif, I want to get you back in, but I don't know how I can do it. In fact, actually, I might be able to. If I ring you on Skype, then my sound then should pass through. Let's try that. Where is he?
Is he on Skype too?
Yeah, I'm going to try and get him in on Skype.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right, so share screen and sounds. Right, so you should see my desktop, but you should also hear the Hangout. So just give him a mic check.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, it's not being routed through.
It's not.
No, you can hear him in the background through your mic, but that's it.
Right, you're not getting routed through. But would it work if I did it through Banana?
Yeah, that's what you have to do. I thought that's what you were doing, but if you don't know how to use it, this is just going to be I just don't.
Right, I can't then in that case. I can't get you to join the Hangout. I need to persuade Nathan to put on a new Hangout. Come on, Ruhif's a decent guy.
Well, we'll see how it goes. If we have any more trouble, I may have to. But at the moment, we've got 3 guests. The link's still public. Ruhif will return for another day. It's late. He's going to be doing he's going to be watching his thing in 3/4 of an hour anyway. So, I'm sorry, Ruhif. It's not
He's
my
asking,
fault.
would you bring him on Skype yourself?
Yeah, Nathan, can't you just get Ruhif on
I'm not
your
friends
Skype?
with Ruhif. What are you talking about? Hello. Oh no, God, more trolls. See, we might end up ending the show anyway if we get completely.
Yeah, come on, let's drop this one. Start a new one.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
All right.
Okay.
Oh,
See you in a minute.
right, he's gonna start a new one, Ruhif.
Thank you.
He's starting a new one, so I'll drop this call and I'll send you the link.
All right.
Hello?
Yo.
You can share temporarily. I will stick the link back out in 5 minutes, and I'll let you know when I do it. But in the meantime, just so we can have a reasonably civil conversation.
Yeah.
Hi, folks.
Hello.
Great.
So we'll wait for Ruhif should make it back in as well. Arwin's back.
Yep.
Has Ruhif had the message? Oh no, maybe he's not. Oh, hang on, there we go. So paste that to Ruhif. I thought I'd done it to Ruhif. So Ruhif should be in.
We were talking about this yesterday. So anything that he can see in the distance that rises up is going to be falling away from him on a sphere. And we keep saying this adamantly. There's no cumulative drop. Therefore, point your camera at anything that you can see and do the maths on it, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I agree.
That's how confident I am. You know, the Earth is flat. Point your camera at something in the distance. It should be dropping away from you. And even better if you've got something that's further away in the distance or something to reference in the near foreground. Sorry, Ruth, if we were just going through what you could do with your camera, and we're saying,
Yep.
we're saying that our staunch opinion is that there is no cumulative drop. Therefore, find something in the distance and something in the mid foreground and compare the two.
So basically, pick the biggest.
Haven't we done that already with the wind turbines?
Yeah, and they show there's no cumulative drop.
Hmm.
So just find the biggest building that you've got locally, and see how far away, and then just plot out lines of sight that you should be able to see it on Google Earth. That's what I did. I found a 500-foot building, plotted how far, did the maths on where I would need to be for it to disappear. I got a couple of miles before it, so that there was somewhat on the horizon to spot, and then go and see if I could see it, and I could see all of it. And then I thought, hey, it's not round; it's flat.
It's tricky here. Like Sydney's basically a big basin with mountains around it. That's you're always going to be looking down at something.
Go up the mountain to the top, and then just take Peak Finder with you on your phone, the Peak Finder app, and then see what mountains you can see and see how far away they are, and then you come back and go, no way.
I don't think I'll come back and say that somehow.
Yeah. The problem you'll have when you go up a mountain is you won't actually see the horizon because it's that far away. The horizon can disperse into the distance, and it'll effectively look cloudy even on a clear day. The cloud, because you're seeing that far, that you don't get to see the point where the horizon appears to meet. So it looks cloudy and misty, but actually it's a good clear day. But because there is no cumulative drop, you're not looking behind no curve. So you're seeing the point of infinity, but you're being obscured by the moisture in the atmosphere. Well, up a mountain.
I did try. I did try to go to Longreef, like, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks ago. Try and look north about 30 k's to an identifiable rock formation, and it was just too misty. So
yeah,
fun though. Got my big telescope out and everything, so that was good fun.
Yeah, and obviously when you do your observation and come back with whatever results you get, then obviously they're like, well, if you're going to be the opposition, we'll just treat you the way that they treat us. You should have gone back on a better day. You should have been lower.
I know. I'm always interested in seeing what people catch on their cameras. It's cool.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Yeah.
I was watching a clip
We
last
got
night
Ruhif.
from.
Let's have a look.
Pardon?
Ruhif's up. You're on.
I'm on. Oh, am I on telly?
Not on telly, but you're screen sharing.
Seems
So
better.
the question I was going to bring up the other day when I talked about this. So this was taken at a mountain called Pic de Fenestrelle. I think it's in Austria or something, and it's looking a long way east, like 400 something k's east, looking at all these different rather high mountains. And the one in bold, just to the right of center, is called Pic Gaspard, and it was 443 kilometers away, but it's 3,867 meters high. So it's actually a kilometer, like a full kilometer higher than the observation point. So should we be looking up at that mountain?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Next question. The mountain to the left is called Grand Ferrand. It is 392 kilometers away, and it is actually lower than the observation point. Should we be looking up or down at that mountain?
Well, relative to the other mountain, you can see that it's a lot closer, right?
Yeah, are you going to make my point for me?
I think so. So what you say is so just
To be honest, I think that especially the very far away mountain, we should not be able to see any of that at all.
yeah.
No distinguishable
Why is that?
landmark because it should be very, very far behind the bulge of the curve. Very far
Well, no,
behind it.
he's taken this over a very long distance, and he has made sure the conditions are really right for refraction. So he's got super refraction happening.
Indeed.
And this is the world
Hang on a minute,
record
hang on a
photograph, right?
Yeah, it's
What-
great refraction. There's
hang on,
very
what are
little
you saying?
refraction, so you can
Hold on,
actually
one
see
at a
how
time.
flat it is.
Hang on. What's super refraction? I've not heard this phrase before.
So obviously more than 7/6R. That'd be my
Oh, so you mean
interpretation of it.
non-standard refraction?
I think the term is super refraction.
Oh, so we're talking about looming now.
Yes,
Right?
of course we are.
Oh,
So
okay.
this
So
thing-
yeah, I get it. Yeah. On this day, the conditions are just right that everything behind the curve looms up
No,
perfectly into
hold
this
on. This is
visible flat plane.
this
great
is
stuff.
over these distances. We're talking about 275 miles. It's a huge distance for all sorts of refractive
Yeah.
effects to take place. Why not? What's wrong with that?
He's also almost 3 kilometers up in the air as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't-
but-
He's observer
why?
height.
What I'm trying to get at, Ruhif, is I don't know why you're getting attacked. So far, you're just presenting stuff that there it is, obviously and observably. Well, what's wrong with that? Why are you all attacking him?
Well, I'm attacking him because he's introduced a new phrase that I'm not familiar with: super refraction.
Fair enough.
And
Yeah.
given
My point is quite simple. Like, you know what my point is, right?
you're going to say that the smaller mountain that's closer to us should appear. You're going to say bigger, right?
Lower in the bold,
Yeah.
just to the right of center. Yep.
So
It is a long way away.
It's 50 k's
But it is-
further. That's 30 miles.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so we know that the cumulative drop at 30 miles from zero is 500 feet almost. But when it's that distance, what's the cumulative drop at that point? It's going to be more than 500 feet.
Oh,
So let's
probably.
say, what's the distance involved?
Oh, how about we just get my point across first?
Maximum is
You should be looking
275
up
miles.
at Gaspard
this
and should be looking down at Grand Ferrand.
No, I
That
don't.
is-
I don't necessarily
I
agree.
think I get the point
What?
he's trying to make, and it is pretty good. But
Hang on.
but look at the picture. Just
Hang on. Let's just
look at the picture. It is
wait.
getting
Let's
very
check the
blurry
claim.
over there.
Let's check the claim. All right. Let's not agree or disagree at this point. Let's check the assertion first. That's what we always do. We validate the claim first. So, Pic Gaspard is 443 kilometers away. So the target distance in kilometers is 443, and then the observation height was what was the eye height? Do you know?
2,820, I think, on Fenestrelle.
Meters.
Yes.
So his eye height was 2,820 meters.
Yep.
Okay. So that would give us a target hidden height of 5,038 based on the geometric value of the sphere that we live on. So 5,000 feet should be hidden. But the mountain is only 2,000
Sorry,
feet
5,000 feet or
confused.
meters?
Yeah,
meters.
sorry.
Meters, okay.
5,038. That's to do with the actual. That's without an atmosphere. So that should be. So that first one should be 5038 hidden. Okay, so that's the whole lot's gone. With regard to the second one, let's do the maths on that. 392 kilometers. Target distance is 392, and the eye height is the same. That target hidden height is 3214 meters. That's the geometric shape without any atmosphere. Now, basically, then two values. So if somebody could read back me what the first value was.
5,036 or something.
5,036, and then this value is 3214. So then you've got to take off, right? So the first value of 5036, take off the value of the height, which is 38, 48, 49, 50. So it's 2,200. So we're looking at it's 2,200 short, and then the second one would be 392. So
isn't it 1,200 for Pic Gaspard?
2,000. So
Pic Gaspard was a bit over 5,000.
I would say what you're looking at there is correct, because it's that far behind the curve. First of all, the first point is: do you accept that both mountains should not be visible?
Not without refraction.
Based on the geometric curve, not the atmosphere.
Geometrically, of course.
They're gone.
Yeah, both of them are gone, right?
So we're just get it clear. I thought this was the case. So we're now arguing about the mathematics of mirages and how much mirage should be, comparatively speaking, between two mountains that are both mirage. That on your model, they're gone. So we're arguing about how much we're going to measure this refraction and how much we're going to measure this mirage.
Well, I've got a scale that we can use to help us with the refraction.
Why is it that if at this point I'm going to call nonsense? Over there. I'm going to call nonsense because
it's over there.
Calling nonsense.
Yeah, I'm going to call. And let me explain why, Ruhif. Right? If we're going to say that it's a flat plane and we're going to take a direct line of sight to this stuff and just measure the angles like a surveyor would do, then it's acceptable to say that we see it and then go, wow, there's a disparity in terms of what we see, because we do see it, right? We can see it.
Yep.
But you're into saying it's gone. We cannot see it on your model. It's gone. So we're then into arguing about taking measurements to things that are not there.
No, things that are not there geometrically, but you can still
see. Geometrically, why do you throw in this word? It's not there, right? It's not there. So you're going to now dice up and do arguments about how much of something that on your model isn't even there we should or shouldn't see. This is ridiculous.
I think that Ruhif is just a very firm embracer of the belief that it's all looming into apparent flatness.
Yeah, I know. So let's do measurements on it because it's looming, because the refraction's bringing it back from being totally and utterly invisible. But this is acceptable to you, Ruhif, which I find bananas. Why would this ever be acceptable, ever, to say, it's gone, we can't see it, it's a ghost. But let's start doing mathematical calculations on it. This is nonsense.
Question for Owen.
Hang on, I've got a question.
Can I please ask?
Well, I want to get an answer. I want to understand. You said this is a psychological exercise, Ruhif. I want to understand psychologically why your brain is capable, apparently scientific brain is capable of saying, this thing isn't there, but I'm going to take measurements to it anyway.
Well, I don't understand the question.
Why is it acceptable for somebody who considers themselves scientific to accept cognitively that the thing you're about to ask us to do measurements on isn't actually there? Why is it acceptable to do any comparative measurements on a mirage?
Because I accept refraction is a thing, and I understand why Pic Gaspard appears lower. In reality, the Pic Gaspard is much lower.
Okay. Well,
No. We're not talking about in reality, Ruhif. You don't seem to follow my gist. You're not talking about reality here. This is not reality. We don't see it. It isn't an actual thing.
Mm-hmm. I think he concedes that he's measuring mirages here.
Well, it's bonkers. This is insane.
I wouldn't call them mirages.
Is this really an example you want to bring up?
It is.
I mean,
if it is a ball, then it must be looming.
Hang on. He wouldn't call it a mirage.
That doesn't make it a mirage. That doesn't make it a mirage.
Yeah,
it does. It makes it a visual aberration because it's physically not there when you.
Looming
go there
means
on a
it's
ball.
not there.
Yeah.
Let's get it clear.
I'm
A
not sure
mirage
that's
is
sort of-
something that appears to be there, but it's not there. Something that isn't really a thing. It's an optical effect. Well, in this instance, right, on your model, not in our world, we see it and that's fine in our world of flatness. In your world, you're saying it's okay, cognitively, to say, we can't see it, it's not there, it physically you couldn't shoot a bullet at it, you couldn't do any of that stuff, because it's gone, it's invisible, not possible to be seen. Yet we do still see it and it's okay to take mathematical measurements to it. How can you
Then I'll
cognitively do
extend the
that?
question to all of you then. Do you see the Morgoth Lighthouse where you expect to see it above the crosshairs?
You
On a
shouldn't see
flat plane.
Morgoth Lighthouse, it's
Flat
gone.
plane, exactly.
This is the same
do
principle.
you see it where you expect to see it above the crosshairs?
We expect to see it,
Yeah.
and we do see it. You don't
Not above the
expect to see
crosshairs.
it, and you still
You see it
see it,
below
and
the
that's fine
crosshairs.
by you. This is the
Well,
point.
hang on. If there
We
were no
expect
crosshairs,
refraction. We actually expect part of things into the distance to be slanted downwards and obscured.
Oh, you're going to have to explain the maths on that one, Owen.
oh, hang on, I can explain.
We have explained it.
Have
and
you?
paper
Can you-
on
Can you
how
put it
we-
into a model?
Let me ask Ruhif. Do you know what circumstances are required for the curve of the ball in your model to appear to be flat? Do you know what the criteria in the atmosphere must be? It's a well-known scientific fact.
No, I think I saw a number in terms of effective Earth radius. I think it was double. Or no, 6 times. Sorry, 6 times.
It's
6 times the radius will give you effectively looking around to see your own backside.
Yeah, 6 times. Right. Okay. So there is a very scientific fact that I'm going to quote to you now. And it describes the conditions that must be present for the horizon on your model to appear to be flat. And it's when the temperature of the lower atmosphere rises at a rate of 11.2 Celsius per 100 meters. At that condition, the light rays will bend on your model in an arc equally exact to the curvature of the Earth, and the horizon will appear flat. Okay? Do you
Okay.
understand that?
Yeah, I think so. Yep. Keep
Yeah.
going.
Now, there's only one place on Earth where this happens, and it happens regularly according to your science. Do you know
Where
where
is
that
that?
might be?
No idea.
Is it the Sahara?
No, it's the polar regions,
Oh,
the North Pole. On your model, apparently, according to your science, you get that temperature inversion at exactly 11.2 Celsius, and it happens regularly. Are we at the North
Wow.
Pole, or are we in somewhere in Spain?
Somewhere in Europe, yeah. I don't even know where. France to Austria or something.
I think we're at the south coast of Spain, if not France. It's one or the other. I can't remember off the top of my head. But we're not at the pole, right?
Nope.
So Nath, could you present my screen?
Yeah, you were.
So if I make this bigger, this is one of the documents that I cite from frequently. It's the Science Direct one. It's the one by Gutierrez. I believe you have a copy of it.
I do.
it's France, by the way.
Yeah, France.
Okay.
So basically, what this talks about here is basically the Vikings had a belief of the world. Forget what their belief was; it's not relevant from the point. But this legend that they had is born from a very scientific fact: the distortion of the horizon, which occurs under very common polar atmospheric conditions. When the temperature of the lower atmosphere raises at a rate of 11.2 degrees Celsius per 100 meters, the light rays bend in an arc equally exact to the curvature of the Earth, and the horizon will appear flat, like an infinite plane. Now, my question is, I know that you don't have evidence for this. However, for this to be the case, you guys making this is an assertion, right? And it tells us the position it needs to have, the temperature of the lower atmosphere rising at a rate of 11.2 degrees Celsius per 100 meters. However, we know that as you climb a mountain, it gets colder. It's not when the lower atmosphere rises. When you climb a mountain, it gets colder. So what does that do with regards to this claim in terms of making the horizon?
Are you saying this is going backwards? When the temperature of the lower atmosphere rises at a rate?
Yeah, but as you climb the mountain, the lower atmosphere does get warmer, so you're going colder. However, it has to be at 11.2 precisely, and it's only at that point where it appears to be flat. Now, what that means then is you have to then take temperature gradients all the way down the mountain, and now you're up at the top, but you'd have to show that a rate of 11.2 is met. Now, this is your science, according to this scientific journal, and at a rate of 11.2, unless you can prove that you've had a rate that's 11.2 and it's a constant, then that horizon is not going to be flat. It's going to be up or down, because Soundly showed that light bends up as well as down. So unless we can prove, or unless you guys can prove, in the Mackled Lighthouse example, or in any other example, that the conditions are rising at a rate of 11.2 degrees Celsius per 100 meters, then unfortunately, guys, you're not going to be able to prove your point. Now, it's not my science. This is your science. So this is what is required for what you see in that observation to match your model. Temperature rate of 11.2 degrees Celsius. I'd like to know what evidence there is there for that, please. Ren, you ready?
It sounds like something you have to prove to show a flat observation.
No, this is your model.
Ignore refraction. We just ignore refraction. We've said this already. So with this observation that you've got up,
how do you ignore refraction when Mackled Lighthouse is below the crosshairs?
No, the conditions required for refraction to actually bend up everything into a flat plane, as described by this paper, it has to be very specific, narrow type of condition that is not universally present on the Earth. So it should only work in specific locations. Yet here in France, which does not meet that specific requirement, it still looked very, very flat. That's the point. That was.
Why does it have to be exactly that 11.2 degrees?
Well, according to science, because it really works that way.
We don't accept,
why does this observation of the world record have to be like? Does it appear flat to you?
We don't accept this paper. I'd still take this as pseudoscience. This is the kind of thing you cite to us about scientific proof of Earth curvature.
I haven't read that part of it and haven't checked anything to do with it. I want to know why you're applying it to the photo of Pic Gaspard.
We're not. You are. That's what I just clarified. We don't believe any of this horse crap. This is what you would have to apply to get us to believe that the light is being refracted in such a manner as it can bend light in the way that you describe it bending. When Rumpus describes it, he just inserts infinite layers of refractive changes. He doesn't provide any proof of it or demonstrate how it would model or anything. He just inserts it. Well, we're saying here's a paper that shows what the conditions would actually have to be using refraction in the paper that demonstrate how you would get it to curve in that manner. That's what they say. Now, we don't say this. You do. You need it on your model. And we're saying, bullshit. You don't need any refractive effects to be modelled. And we don't. We take straight lines. Now, there is, matter of fact, a layer of refraction in this image of the Isle of Man. So you're asking about Mackled Lighthouse. And we can show and demonstrate that there is a refractive band at the horizon, as we consistently say. However, in your model, you need to demonstrate some actual refractive effects in the entire island because the whole thing's looming.
Yes. What's the question?
Can you demonstrate any refractive effects in the
I don't need
entire
to. Is the lighthouse below the crosshairs or is it above the crosshairs?
No, I'm not allowed to get to the end of my question. So, in your model, you just force us to accept that light bends as a matter of fact, right? And I'm asking for any proof of that in the first instance. Does light bend in this manner? And that's what you've been presented with, Anthony, showing that in your world, to get it to bend around the curve of the Earth, you've got to have pretty extreme conditions that conform to a certain way of modelling things. It doesn't just automatically happen because the Rumpus says it does, and brings up a diagram with infinite layers of refraction showing Snell's law applying over and over and over and over again to just happen to conform to the curve so that you can bring things back that shouldn't be there. In reality, on your model, both these two mountains that you're showing us, that you want us to do maths about how distorted they are when refraction occurs, which it does close to the horizon, and we can demonstrate. In your world, these mountains aren't even there. They're not there. They're not something you should be measuring.
Or cause the lighthouse to appear below the crosshairs on a flat plane.
You shouldn't have brought this as an example. It's terrible. In your world, these are apparitions.
You've done well obstructing the very simple point that you look down to Pic Gaspard and look up to Grand Ferrand.
Right, what evidence
in
have you
your
got
world, they're not even there. What are you talking about how much we should or shouldn't look up to them or down to them if we modelled them on a flat plane? It's irrelevant. In your world, they're gone.
What? In
your world, those mountains aren't there. You're
It's
talking
1
about
kilometre
comparing
higher.
and contrasting mathematical measurements on apparitions. It's ludicrous.
Ruhif, what evidence have you got that we're looking down on the crosshairs on the Mako lighthouse?
It will be.
So you haven't got any?
Take your theodolite. No,
Yeah,
but
well,
it
we
is.
haven't
It's
got
clearly
that
is.
yet.
Retrospectively take
But
a
I'm more than
theodolite.
happy to do
Well,
that.
would,
But
would
what
you like
happens
to
if we're
pay my
looking on the
$5,000
horizon and it's the
flight?
same level?
I would kind of like to respond to Ruhif's question here as to why the mountain apparent height differences are in his giant looming mirage of the
Because the
globe
Earth's
Earth.
flat.
Yeah, of course, that's the whole thing in plain sight. Again, you're looking now at a very small specific zone where the curvature would be applying as you're looking out on a super fast distant flat plane. But yeah, to respond to the actual question as to why that one mountain seems to be lower in position as the others. Well, look at all the other. I love that you put in all the kilometer distances there. All the other mountains are already getting pretty blurred up, which is not strange. At the huge fast distance, then eventually and all those mountains are pretty consistent in their blurriness, and they are apparently all pretty much the same distance, like just a few miles in between. Well, that one mountain is much further in comparison to the other mountain range, because it seems that the rest of the mountains seem to be pretty much a mountain range, roughly at the same distance, and that Pic Gaspard is a mountain that's a big leap away from that even. So in my opinion, it's pretty much a miracle that you can even see thing of that mountain, and it's not just completely covered up by clouds or moisture, which is already pretty much blurring up the rest of the mountain range. So, but it's a damn miracle that you can see any of this.
So
Out
are
of
you
all
looking
this
on a
would be
flat plane?
completely impossible.
On a flat plane, are you looking up at Pic Gaspard?
We're looking very, very deeply into the horizon, and
Yeah, but are you looking
everything
up or
there,
down?
you can see very, very far, and perspective applies. And I think that Pic Gaspard is just so far into the distance that it's
It's a
getting
very simple
smaller,
question,
and the
Owen.
blurring
Is 3,867
gases
a
that are
bigger
in
number than
between the photo,
2,820?
the observer, and that super far distance is just blurring it up so much that
Right.
it
Is
gives a distorted
3,800
picture.
bigger than 2,800?
Yeah, but the thing is,
Yeah. So are you
you
looking
would,
above the crosshairs
you know
or
what
below
you
the
would
crosshairs?
actually see on a ball if this picture,
No, I'm asking you about
if
your
it
flat
was a
Earth.
ball,
This is
you
your
would
model
see the
now.
lake. That's what you would see. You would see the lake, and
So
that
is
would
Pic
be the
Gaspard above the
horizon,
crosshairs?
and the rest would be all completely concealed behind that lake. That's what you would
So
see on a
it's
ball.
above, on a flat Earth, is it above the crosshair?
No, it's not on the crosshair. It's on the horizon.
Yeah, it's very, very
It's a kilometer.
deeply
It's
into
1
that
kilometer
perspective
above.
point.
It is measurably above the horizon.
No, it's on the horizon because we are at about 100 and something feet. The lighthouse is also at 100 and something
No,
feet
no.
at its base.
We're
Pic
talking about this
Gaspard.
picture now. Sorry,
talking about
don't
the
talk
mountains.
across purposes. We're talking about the picture that's on
Oh,
screen
sorry.
for the audience. So
Yeah, Pic
click on
Gaspard.
Ruhif.
Pic Gaspard is above the crosshairs, right? It's a kilometer above.
There is
Yes.
no crosshairs.
Crosshairs.
What are you talking about? Where's the
3,867
crosshairs on this
horizon.
picture?
closer than 2,800.
Sorry, there is no crosshair on this picture. This has not been taken with the theodolite or a theodolite app. So we're now inserting a crosshair that does not exist.
It doesn't matter, Nathan.
It doesn't
You're
matter.
looking above the crosshair.
You're telling me I'm
Matters a
looking
lot.
above and below a crosshair that doesn't exist. It's a bit like this landscape that doesn't exist on your model, Ruhif. You think it doesn't matter that there's no crosshair. You think it doesn't matter that this stuff doesn't really exist at all on your model. It's just
Are
an
you serious?
apparition.
You can't put a hypothetical crosshair on a picture like this on a flat Earth?
In this instance, we've got
Absolutely.
a
If you're-
hypothetical load of land that we're going to do measurements on, because this land doesn't really exist. It isn't really there. It isn't visible
No,
on
a
your
flat
world.
Earth, no refraction.
No. This stuff, forget refraction, that's the point. You're talking about taking measurements to refractions, apparitions, mirages. It's nonsense.
No, I'm asking you to explain it on a flat Earth. Is it above the crosshairs on a flat Earth?
All
It's
that
very
matters
simple
at this
process
point is that the
on a flat
globe
Earth.
is utterly
It's 1
obliterated by
kilometre
this
higher
observation.
than your
Ruhif.
observer position.
Yeah,
At
but how far away?
275 Hold on, let me just
400 kilometers
answer
away.
you.
Perspective
Anthony,
still applies. And if you go
Anything you
very
do
high
is-
up, then the actual slant zone where that starts to appear, especially if
It
it's
would be
very clear day,
negligible.
This
it
is
will migrate
very,
very,
very simple,
much
people.
further into the distance as you go higher up. We've even
Negligible.
demonstrated this with sound lease footage of the drone taking film going upwards, and you see that the apparent curve that is actually a slant, it starts to migrate into the distance as you move up. And this picture is taken pretty damn high up, so that means that the
Oh,
apparent
not as high as Grand
refraction-induced slant
Oh,
will
no
appear
refraction, Owen.
quite far
no
away.
refraction.
Hang on,
No
Ruif,
refraction.
on
Yeah.
your model, this has to be down, right?
Yeah, this picture contradicts the flat Earth model.
No,
on your model.
On your model, the angle.
Are
of the
you
camera
looking
would have to
up
be
at
down,
Pic Gaspard and down at Grand Ferrand? Very simple.
right?
Up at
So
Pic
again,
Gaspard,
third time.
down at Grand Ferrand.
So on your model, looking at the first mountain or the second mountain, it would always be down, correct?
Yes.
Now, what evidence have you got to prove whether it's up or down?
Well, we don't have a theodolite, but this
Well,
doesn't
you
matter
got-
on the
Oh,
flat
so
you
Earth.
have no
suddenly the
evidence.
crosshairs suddenly now can be disavowed because we don't
Yeah,
have
they can
them,
be.
right?
What is it? Deduced. You can deduce a horizon if it suits.
Can you have Grand Ferrand above the crosshairs and Pic
What
Gaspard below the
crosshairs?
crosshairs?
You can talk about a theodolite,
Circle the
but you're-
crosshairs. Ruhif, just put your mouse on the crosshairs so we can all have a little
ridiculous.
look at these crosshairs you keep talking about.
Do you want to put some crosshairs on there?
No!
Which,
Are you dumb? No, I don't want you to just invent curvature and put crosshairs on things. No!
That's what Wumpus does.
Don't just invent stuff. What are you doing, man? This stuff isn't there. Why are you now drawing crosshairs on stuff that isn't there?
The
It's
Earth is flat,
preposterous.
it's there, right? The
Are
Earth
you,
is flat,
why
and it's
you,
there.
you said you were on a psychological journey. Man, you need evaluating. You're looking at stuff that isn't there, man, and putting crosshairs on it. You need
All right, there's
psychological
a cross-
evaluation, my
my,
friend.
uh,
If you
yeah.
believe that you're on a sphere and you're about to put crosshairs on something that isn't really there, then you need psychological help, my friend. It's not even
You're doing a
there.
very poor job at obfuscating this, Nathan.
I'm not obfuscating anything. In your model, it's gone. Gone. It isn't even there.
In your model,
In your
in
model,
your model,
globe
you
model,
globe,
the
it
world
should
you
not
think
be
you
this
live
up
on,
at Pic Gaspard.
the world you think you live in is a globe, right, Ruhif?
Yes.
Right. In your world of globe nonsense, this stuff that you're asking us to put crosshairs on isn't there.
But it is on your model. There's
Right.
no refraction
So no,
there.
no,
It is.
not it is on our model. Let's just get this concession really clear, right? Forget what's on our model. It's acceptable to see this stuff and observe phenomenon at the horizon. We've demonstrated that refraction at the horizon at 275 miles is gonna occur. Now, whether it's atmospheric looming or atmospheric refraction or whatever the hell it is acceptable to do if we can see the stuff. And what do you know? We can see
I'm sorry?
it. It is there,
Are
so
you
it's
invoking refraction,
acceptable.
Nathan?
It's
Did
I hear
acceptable
Nathan
to...
asking
invoke
a
refraction
flat Earth
there?
question, basically.
We don't
So-
know the details of the atmospheric conditions, so what's the point in trying to calculate what should and shouldn't be there if we don't know what atmospheric conditions we're dealing with? You insert that it's okay to see stuff that shouldn't be there in your world. That's cognitive
Are any
dissonance
of you
at its
honest enough
finest.
to
It's
say that
okay
you
for
look
us to
up
put
at Pic
crosshair on it.
Gaspard and
It's
down at
madness.
Grand Ferrand?
It's madness.
Ruhif, it's just a red herring what you're doing.
Are any of us?
You answer the question yourself, as though you're one of us. You
What was the
tell us.
question, Ruif? Are any of us
The
honest enough to
question,
do
are
what?
any of you guys honest enough to say that yes, we are looking up at Pic Gaspard and down at Grand Ferrand?
We do not have a crosshairs. There is absolutely no way of knowing. We haven't modelled it. We haven't got a repeated observation. We haven't gone away and checked any of the heights of any of this. You're asking us on the spot whether or not we can put a hypothetical deduced, oh, what do you know? A yellow line's appeared on screen. Are we now going to invent where the horizon is?
Can you guys... Oops, hang on, one sec.
Yeah, but
I have a
Ruif,
request from the wife.
can you prove that we're not?
Sorry, can I prove that I'm not what?
looking up or down?
I'm asking you to model this in your head. Are you looking up at Pit Gaspard if it's a kilometre higher than your observer position?
Absolutely
And
no
are
idea.
you looking down at Grand
No
Baron
idea.
when it's 70
If we
metres
had a
below you?
theodolite reading, it would be really easy to tell. We don't.
Yeah. You're
I
asking us
think
to
it's quite
speculate.
easy to tell in your head, right?
No,
I'm not
I think
asking
it's
to
far
speculate.
easier
This
to
is a
take a
very simple
theodolite
up
out, as
and
you
Look,
guys
down
tell us to
Ruhif,
do.
Ruhif,
So you
it
say,
is so
go and take
far
the
away,
theodolite
it's
out.
getting obscured by just the air thickness eventually. It's
not being obscured.
443 kilometers
Yeah.
away, man.
And you've
Ruhif,
got
That's
perfect
incredible.
weather conditions.
It's incredible
Yes,
distance. It's a miracle you could even see that far, especially on the globe.
Nathan, could you
It is the world
share my
record,
screen, please? Ruhif, could you look on my screen and tell me when you can see it?
For a minute, I've just got a request from the wife, so I've got like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Hang on.
Let me know when you can see my screen.
Yep.
Right. So
I'll
this
stop
is
sharing as well.
this is going to demonstrate effectively your two mountains. We have the peninsula of land in the foreground, that can be mountain 1, and we have the lump of mound in the background, which would be mountain 2. And what we're going to show is that there is an independent relationship with regards to refraction. They do not move together, they move independently. And what I'm going to show you is that the mountain in the foreground, in your case, can be squashed or stretched independently of the mountain in the background, which can also be squashed or shrunk. Now, at the beginning of the day, it's generally controlled and it's kind of comfortable, it's stable. But by dinner time throughout this particular day, we can see that the peninsula in the foreground is now stretching, and it's independent of what's happening in the background because that's not stretching. But
Yeah,
what's
it's miraging.
Yeah, well, it's refraction, not mirage, refraction. But
No, this is what I call a mirage.
well, you can call it a mirage if you wish. But the
Sorry,
point is,
we do have line of sight with this stuff. Sorry to interrupt you. We can see it. It is there. There's no need to assume that this stuff is in any way miraged, other than what the optical effects that are demonstrated.
now
I
notice.
think we actually need to come to a good definition of what a mirage is at some
No, we
point.
don't. We just need to see what the effects of refraction are.
We do need to agree on a definition, I think is what I'm trying to say.
Listen, we've got two very distant mountains in your example, and I'm giving you another example where there's two very distant objects, and we can see the effects of refraction on them both. And I've just showed you that the object in the foreground was stretched there, and then it squashes to very almost nothing there. That makes the apparent height of it change relative to the thing in the background. But now watch what happens with regards to the thing in the background and forget about the foreground. We have the height of the mountain range in the background, and then as the day goes on, because of the effects of refraction, you can watch this to start to shrink. Hopefully it's not going to make a fool out of me. Wait,
We're all in agreement that refraction
Horizon
is
is
a thing.
shifting. It's
Yeah.
shifting because of refraction change.
but what my point is,
Temperature is changing.
what appears to be taller in the foreground may not actually be taller. It may be the effects of refraction in the real world and not refraction bending light round the curve.
But I thought you guys said the refraction zone was only close to the horizon. So you've got
It is
these
close
two
to
mountains
the
in the
horizon.
background that are
No,
changing height relative
everything
to each other.
over the refraction, where the refraction zone
Right.
starts,
So the
is
whole
displaced
Isle of
downward.
Man is looming, right?
No.
So the whole
No,
island is
No,
looming.
it's
No.
looming downward. Everything is
Oh,
feedback loop.
Mark, your
That's Alex.
mic's...
Can
Oh,
you,
crazy.
can you see how the horizon now is wibbly wobbly and that it's squashed on the horizon, but it's the horizon itself's all distorted? That's what we see. Now, I put it to you that the two mountains that we're looking at represent what we're looking at here. This would be the first mountain, that would be the second mountain, and there is a refractive effect on the two of them, and we can't tell which is the highest because it's just one frame of one picture throughout the whole day.
But the second light from the second mountain is curving over the first mountain. There are parts of that second mountain that were not visible, are not visible right now, that were visible previously. So light does curve around things.
No, it just distorts what we see on the vertical axis. Let me.
Anyway, I've got to
Light never
get my
curves.
wife something.
Light never
point
ever
is-
curves. So light goes in straight lines and can be refracted, and its direction can change.
Oh,
It does not
am
curve.
I alone in here?
Does not curve. For it to curve, the way you describe it, you have to have infinite layers of Snell's law principles going on constantly across the surface of the Earth. Constant changes in angle, constant variants that give you this atmospheric change to change the straight line that the light takes at an angle, continue in a straight line, and then go through another layer So each and every single
Yeah,
one of these
that's how it
layers
works.
has no proof
That's how it works.
attached. The gradient in terms of the density that must actually take place has been demonstrated in their world by their science on a paper that has modelled it. Now, according to them, it happens anyway. Doesn't matter. It always happens. Stuff's always brought back into your eye line that has gone anyway, like the mountains that have vanished. Gone, can't see them, but it's cool, man. It all comes back because we have infinite layers of refraction that make it bend infinite times and then continue on in a straight line, which is what light does. It does not bend.
All right.
So
Thanks,
your
Nathan.
question to us on whether those mountains will be up above us or below us, we can't give you a definite answer to that because, as we've been demonstrated, things.
No, you can draw a very simple diagram and give me an answer. I've got to go. I may be back after the DOJ thing. Can someone else come and take over? Who's out there? Was can come in. All right, I'll mute and I'll be.
Oh, I've posed a question
I think
in comments to us
Ruhiv
earlier.
subscribes to the concept of cumulative refraction into the distance to compensate for the lack of cumulative drop. That's a system that he's using, because refraction, once it actually sets in, once the distance, once the certain distance when refraction starts to set in, everything above that is refracted, is displaced slightly downwards because of the refraction. Everything you see once refraction starts to bend down completely downwards. Just all of it. All of that image above the refraction zone starts to displace downwards uniformly. That's how that works.
I'm going to stick the link out because until now we've had an uninterrupted conversation with Ruhiv. Hopefully he'll return. He's still on the panel, so if he doesn't, thank you very much, Ruhiv. Excellent conversation as ever. The link is now public. I might as well do a quick link. Let's do it properly. Turn my little light on. Hope you're enjoying the debate thus far. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and a link in the info box below this video once it is rendered on my main channel, Nathan Oakley 1980. These live streams will soon continue on that particular channel. Hopefully that's the real Arav. Good to have you, Arav. I will say hello in a moment. But yes, these live streams will continue on at Nathan Oakley 1980 as opposed to Nathan Oakley, which is the backup channel I'm using currently. So check it out on there. These will be the re-ups on this channel. So I've also got Philip. Excellent. Lots of people joining while I'm doing this link. Be sure not to swear if you do join the panel, and please mute the watch page you are currently looking at before you actually join the discussion. Oh, people being kicked. Lots going on while I'm doing this link. If you've not done so already, please share the show, as this increases the live audience and in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. There is approximately 1 hour left on this live broadcast.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, Philip.
We can, Philip. Good to have you.
Hey, so I wanted to actually show you guys. So I told you about my ray tracing program, right, like a few weeks ago. And I'm finally, after like a bunch of work, I'm able to finally reproduce the results of these Chinese high schoolers.
Oh, wow.
Just kind of embarrassing to say.
Excellent.
But yeah, let me show you what my program can do. I'll actually like show the mirage effects that Arwen likes to talk about. Okay. Oh yeah, I guess I should probably present something. How am I? Is it okay if I just present my entire screen, since I'm going to be switching
fine. The
between
link's
windows?
public anyway. Don't worry about it. As long as
Okay,
there's
cool.
nothing you want not out there, if that makes sense. Oh,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
joined.
sure.
Let's get rid of you.
Okay. Let's just close some of this stuff.
Cool. You're up.
Right.
You're on.
Cool. So, I guess you guys probably recognize this picture from this paper.
Yep.
So basically, you can actually put in the atmospheric conditions exactly how they describe it here. So you see this temperature gradient as a function of height. Very extreme. This is a very extreme case because the temperature difference is like 86 degrees Celsius. But basically, my code, if I run it,
Oh, 86 to what? What's the gradient?
So yeah, this function here basically is plotted here, and so it's really hard to read the scale.
Say,
But
I'll get closer to my screen.
This is in. Yeah, there you go. So it's like it at ground level, it's like almost 350 degrees Kelvin, maybe 345 degrees Kelvin, which is about like minus. Let's see. It's really hot. It says it right here. So 70 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
At the surface of the Earth. So it's like really hot at the surface, and then as you go up, the atmosphere starts to cool, right? And then eventually it settles down to some temperature which is more reasonable, like 300, which is about 20 degrees Celsius. So like 90 degrees Fahrenheit. And so using Fermat's principle basically is what this paper does. And so my code, I can just run it again, like literally in real time. I can basically get the same plots that these guys have.
Sorry, I am stupid, so just explain it again. Just go back to the graph. So we've got
the temperature?
The real world sort of temperature is about, they've got it down as about 25, 26 degrees at the bottom of the chart, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Snipey.
So this is like high up in the...
Oh, god damn it.
Don't
Fireball,
take
you
the
bastard.
Lord's name in vain.
I do want Philip back, so I'm going to end this hangout. If you guys can rejoin me on Skype, I'll stick the link out for hopefully Philip will join. Damn.
I couldn't get.
Whoa.
Sorry, I couldn't get Fireball. My dogs were
I've
attacking me, so
I've just
give me a
annoyed
minute.
a whole load of people by clicking on the wrong thing to dial, so I'm sorry all the people in the masturbators link. My apologies.
Hey.
Didn't mean to wake you up if you've got the notifications turned on. Sorry.
Hey, I think
Let anybody know who
Hey,
joins
Marky
this
joined for a
call
moment.
that this is live, so... Right, I will
God, this typo Bry guy. Just spinning my damn words around.
Okay, let's stick the... I'll give you guys the link first. You there,
No,
Anthony?
you're not my nemesis, typo Bry. You're a stupid damn troll that just jumbles words around to attempt to make my concept fail. It doesn't fail, it works. Fraction, once it starts, once the distance is far enough that refraction sets in, displaces what you get to see downwards because of the light bending upwards in the slant. The entire image above the refraction zone is displaced downwards. That's how that works. Just all of that displaced downwards. Not in a cumulative rate, just one slant or displaced downward.
Right, how long have you actually got left?
No, you don't have my number, typo Ryan. You don't.
What is this, hangout number 3? Right, I'm just posting the link publicly now. You there, Philip? Click that link. Hopefully you'll get to present what you were presenting. I was really enjoying it. AP Mars.
Hey, Nathan.
Good to have you.
So I
We
heard
were listening to you earlier, P.
A picture wasn't the scientific method.
Yeah, you got it.
So what we have here is a picture of the scientific method.
Cool.
But that's not the actual scientific method. It's just a picture of the scientific method.
I love it. That's brilliant. That is not the scientific method. That's just a picture,
No.
P. Get it off.
It's
my
a
screen.
picture. It's a picture of the scientific method, but it is not the scientific method.
No, it's not. Get it off. That's genius. I love it.
I got booed. Damn. I thought that was a good joke.
I thought that was good too.
So yeah, the hangout that I got porn bombed, I don't think it was actually my fault because Sean shared the link on accident. So I think I'm actually in the clear on that.
Oh, really?
But yeah,
That's
but I did share the link with the porn bomber. He kind of tricked me. I didn't really think it was a porn bomber. I thought we were just going to kind of harmlessly tease Sean, you know? So that's
So who was said porn bomber?
I don't know. I thought I was sharing the link with Tim Osmond, and I didn't think he was going to porn bomb. Although I guess he
Hi,
is
Dawn.
capable
Can you hear
of
us?
such.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Philip. If whoever joined blocked you, then unfortunately today you can't rejoin. Tomorrow you can rejoin, but you're not. No one ever gets blocked, apart from
Oh
Dawn.
no,
Predator
I'm okay
muting me.
in getting in the hangout, but I can't comment in the chat for some reason.
Yeah, that's because I blocked your main channel for muting me as a punishment.
Okay, sorry, mate. I apologise for that.
That's all right. You're not going to get unblocked though. For some reason, people really want their main channel. I guess it's one of those things. You know, when I did used to ban people, that was the thing people used to say. Can you unblock my main channel? I was like, I don't care which channel you've got banned for. But
Well, I get notifications and then I have to switch channels. That's just annoying.
I see. You're the only. I think you are the only person that's banned. Don't mute me.
No, I was just got up that day and I was just trigger happy. Sorry.
Fair enough.
Trigger happy, is that another name for being piss proud? Or is it the wrong type of trigger?
I think that's a different term.
Yeah, metaphorically,
okay.
it's like losing a finger. It's just not going to come back,
So,
my friend.
I want to know about this porn bombing, P. Miles. You said you shared how did the link get in your hands?
Sean let me on the show. He was like he was saying kind of nice things about me, but then when I got on the show, like they were all super rude to me and insulting my research and stuff. And I don't even know why I went on there. Those people are very close-minded.
Yeah, they're very misrepresentative of the truth as well by all accounts.
I couldn't even get to my point. Like they jumped all over. I said Samuel Robotham was a Freemason, but that wasn't my main point. And they just jumped all over that. Like, oh, you can't prove this. Prove it. What's your evidence? All that crap. I was like, man.
So why don't you make your point now then? Just get to the point of what you were making with them and make it now.
Oh, sure. Well, I don't know. I read this like blog post that detailed the history of flat Earth, and a lot of the people involved with it were Freemasons. Now, granted, the evidence isn't super hardcore because it's kind of hard to prove someone's a Freemason unless like they're wearing an apron. But there is
sounds
some,
a bit like the evidence for refraction, eh?
Yeah. But anyways, I read this book about the cultural Cold War and how in the 60s the CIA was putting all this nihilistic propaganda out there. And I just made the connection in my head, like Freemasons are behind flat Earth. The CIA is connected to fraternal orders like Skull and Bones, which, I mean, all these like secret societies connect at some point, I think, at a pyramid structure. So, I don't know, I just like saw a connection between the CIA propaganda and the cultural Cold War nihilism and flat Earth, more, in my opinion, modern propaganda, which promotes nihilism too, because It's nihilism, philosophically speaking, is extreme skepticism in reality to the point of like basically believing nothing's real. You can't prove anything and everything is a simulation theory. That's like the hardcore nihilism. And Flat Earth kind of promotes this idea of like, don't believe in anything. And I think it's kind of ridiculous.
I think that's a very good point.
No, I don't think so. That's just taking it too far.
You bunch of nihilists.
When skepticism goes into unreasonable territory, then it becomes paranoia.
Hey,
That's
P-Mars,
what we're talking about.
It looks like you've had a pay rise, P-Mars. You look like you're in a different room from the last time I seen you.
No, I'm in the same
hence
room.
the show that we're on.
I've not given him a pay rise. It's same as
No, I was wondering where it looks like he's in a bigger room than last time I saw him in a room.
No, I'm in the same place.
Yeah, Patricia got a pay rise recently. She's doing well.
Agent Steer.
Agent Steer.
Shout out to Metatron. Smash the super chat.
Forget chemotherapy. Die of cancer today. That's what pays.
Or get treated for cancer and then die anyway.
Come on, don't take this stuff lightly. I know it was discussed yesterday on Patricia's show, but discussing it and taking it lightly are different things, Dawn. You know, people genuinely do die of cancer, so I don't find it funny. No offense.
Yeah. Whilst I know did Ruhif get kicked or did he leave?
No, Ruhif just dropped because he was doing some accounts, but he was still on the call, so technically he could have returned, so he may or may not have been kicked. I think while I was doing my link, it looked like he just dropped of his own volition and intended to return, so again, one of those things, isn't
it? Could I show my screen, Nath? I have something I wanted to show people the benefit of, which for me proves it's a flat plane, but it's open to interpretation. But I want to show at least the alternative explanation for.
Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt. Can I just shout out Big Gay Pumpkin in the chat?
Yeah, go ahead. Shout out if you like. Carry on with
I just realised I'm not in the hangout, am I? Okay, so I'll have to do it this way.
Also, eating natural turpentine, that's good.
Yeah, I think she meant turpentine in its natural form rather than the substance that you mix with chemicals. I don't think she meant that one.
Yeah, she was sort of said pure pine needles. But that, if it's turpentine, I don't want to put it in my mouth.
Okay, so this is a picture or a video of a guy that was claiming to show that Flat Earth was destroyed. And what he's got is a tripod, and he's got a flat disc, which he's got leveled, and he's got a water bead on the top of it. And he's showing that basically he's lined his camera up with said Kim Slim. So he's lined up the horizon. He's lined up the water bead so that he's got a straight line of sight to the horizon. And his point is that this is definitely level because the water is maintaining its rigidity and its meniscus within the confines of the dish that it's on. And therefore, he's lined his camera up dead straight with it. And what he's saying is that the horizon, therefore, should be, if it were a flat Earth, the horizon should be along here somewhere. Now, obviously, what we can see is that I think he's at about 6,000 feet, which is like 3 times higher than Snaefell on the Isle of Man. He's got quite a good view here. You can see that there's lakes, there's small mountains, there's a big mountain ridge. He's got quite a fantastic view, to be fair. And you can tell by how small things are that he's looking some distance. Now, obviously, his claim is that this proves that the flat Earth's been destroyed. But there is another interpretation for what we see, and this is obviously the point that I was trying to make with Ruhif before, that if you get yourself up to elevation, if the Earth is indeed flat, as you go further and further out to the horizon, there should come a point where you should get to the vanishing point or the horizon point. But because you can see further because you've gone up, there comes a point where you're going to have a balance between how far you can see against how far the land actually goes. And then we know that when I did the Isle of Man observations, the visibleness of the camera, the distance that the camera was able to actually see, I think from memory was around about 47 miles. And what the position or the interpretation on this could easily be seen as is that you're seeing as far as the camera can see. But notice that there is a line that sits here, which goes right the way across the screen, which appears to be white. Now, who's to say what that is? It could be a line of cloud. It could be, and I wouldn't be against that. But my point is this proving that there's curve, or is it proving that you can only see so far before you can no longer see anything? And it can go both ways. If there was a curve, you would expect to see not flatness, and it does appear to be flat. So ultimately, this guy's claiming that this is a flat Earth destroyed. But when he puts the horizon marker in, and I mean, it's quite a good video, to be honest. It's from a guy called.
Are you expecting to see left to right curve?
Not on this particular picture, no, because he's got a very narrow field of view. But left to right curve the Earth curves away in all directions. It's not just forward to backwards.
Yeah, but you can't see that on photos, can you? Unless you've got a bridge or something.
No, you can't see it.
You should be able to see it if you rotate
your camera. If you could establish that it was 70 miles from one side of the frame to the other side, that would be 1 degree on the ball Earth model. But when you see the drop that's involved in 1 degree, it's a 70-mile drop, so you would expect to see curvature. If you could ascertain that you were looking spanning 70 miles, you would expect to see 70 miles worth of 1 degree would be 70 miles worth of drop, I believe. Is that? I'll have to double check the maths on that, but yeah, you should see curvature if you can see 1 degree.
Right. So whether why would you ignore that?
You can't see 1 degree, can you really?
Yeah, but you can measure it. So yes, if you zoom in on a picture that has got left to right with 70 miles, yeah, you should be able to see a curve in it. That's the point. Why would you think that curvature is only obstruction? It's because that's what globeheads want you to think that it is. You only ever see it looking on one axis, from you out to sea at the beach. That's what they want us flat earthers to do.
What we used to do is you have to go a lot higher to see left to right curvature.
Oh, right. Well, I've been on a plane, mate. You ever been on a plane, Dawn? You ever been on an aeroplane?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, done.
Right. Did you see any curvature?
Took a picture of the horizon.
What did you see from your aeroplane?
It's curved.
Because they tell us you don't get to see any curve from an aeroplane. You've got to go much higher, right?
How much higher do you need to go?
Not really, no.
This is 6,600 feet.
You can see curve on the ground. You can see curve everywhere.
Okay.
So are you expecting to see a 1 degree curve?
See, Dawn?
On this
PMARS says you can see curve everywhere.
There is left to right curvature. Like, I've measured it. I've taken a picture of the horizon and I measured it, and it's not straight.
There you go.
There you go. Excellent. P's happy. It's got a curve. Wicked. Left to right curvature, Dawn. Happy?
I'll take it.
Sure. Yeah. If you measure the horizon in this picture, it's not going to be perfectly straight or level. It won't. I've never seen a picture with a level horizon.
Really? Oh, okay.
Really? Legit. It doesn't exist because there's a curve.
Fair enough. See, all P sees is curves in pictures. Dawn thinks that you can't see and it can't be measured. P thinks it's in every picture.
Yeah, I'm staying skeptical.
I mean, level's level. I took a marker and I drew a line, and the line was not level, so it's curved.
Fair enough, P.
But I mean, there isn't very much curvature, but it's not perfectly level.
Well, my position is this: whilst this guy is zooming in, he's trying to pick out features that he can measure. Del?
You are
So, but my point is that, as you can see, he zooms in towards the depths of the background. Now, what my position is that if it is indeed a flat plane, as it appears to be, there is a limit to how much you can actually see, and it's called the opacity of the atmosphere, the moisture in the air, the amount of obstruction in the atmosphere itself. If you could zoom past this and see further, I'm pretty certain he would see further going up continuing up towards the horizon. I think the limitation here is the visibility of the atmosphere, and it's not the apparent curvature, although I can see why it would be curvature on your model. But the point I'm trying to make is that I hope that you guys could at least see the interpretation from our perspective, which is things go up to the horizon. You're at the point that you can no longer see anymore. That was what I was getting at. Anyway, as you were, gents.
I wonder where Ranty is. I was hoping he's got something up his sleeve, which I'm hoping will get eventually demonstrated to an audience. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Possibly, if you said a keyword to remind me.
He's got something with the wind turbines all lined up, one in front of the next.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just hoping. if he doesn't put it out there, I'm hoping he'll just let me take a couple of screen grabs, because he let me do that last time. He's like, yeah, happy for you to do it. I was like, nice. So I just took some screen grabs and narrated it, you know. But he's done all the work. He's got this evidence. Well, he had it all already on his camera. So I said, have you specifically got X and Y? And he's like, I'm sure I could find that amongst my videos. So that's what he did. He went and looked out through his videos and saw what information he'd got on there. And sure enough, he'd got precisely what I needed to make this demonstration, and then he put it together, but with various other things alongside it, which is great. But I'm hoping he'll give it to me just so I can make that point that I wanted him to. And he's got a real-world example of something that I did on the first or second show I ever did. But we only ever were able to do it in CAD. You know, we didn't have a real-world example of it, whereas Ranty did, and he went and got it for me, and I was like, this is awesome. So I really want to, you know, nick that off him or get him to present it in some form or another. So
you're on about the 90-degree turn of the camera. Is that the turbines with a 90-degree angle to it, right?
Yeah, don't give away too much about what the demonstration has been. Don't let the cat out of the bag. Oh my god, another troll. Getting troll invaded. Right? Yeah, don't give away what the demonstration would be, because maybe Ranty's got, you know, maybe he wants to lay it as some trap or something. I have no idea, but it's his information at the end of the day, as much as I've made this point.
Lay it as a trap? What do you mean by that?
Lay it as a trap. So, in respect that you can lead people along a certain path. For example, when Rumpus identified the horizon, Anthony closed the image down slightly and just said, here's a picture, show us where the horizon is. And after a lot of obfuscation, he did. He was happy for a line to be drawn at a certain point. When you see the bigger picture, as Anthony put it, you could see that that wasn't the horizon. So, based on more information. So you can therefore present half your information, get people to draw the conclusions they always do. It's
you admit to running tricks on Globus to try and prove flat Earth.
We're not running tricks. Where you would try and trick us into thinking the Earth's curved with things.
No one tries to trick you. We're talking about what we see, observations.
Yeah, exactly what it is.
Why would we try and convince you the Earth's a globe? Why would we want to do that?
Well, I'll explain. So where you have things that are going into the distance, getting smaller, you would say it's going over a curvature because you are deluded and you've been tricked. That is
because they disappear from the bottom.
That's the trick.
Because they disappear from the bottom.
So,
Cook report.
The Cook report's going to be a troll, obviously. But yeah, so it is a trick on you, and we are trying to use your tricks against you.
Things disappear from the bottom. That perspective doesn't do that.
It does.
It doesn't.
Well, if we were able to make you get that, if we had the photos up now, right, and you were making this concession, and then we obliterated with the next photograph, that would be like you're calling a trap.
You can't obliterate stuff getting obscured from the bottom.
Getting you to concede that things disappear from the bottom first, only to then destroy that argument with the very next photo. That's what I mean by a trap. So yeah, you can make these assertions from incredulity, Dawn. We're finding evidence that, you know, once you've conceded that point that you believe on your bullshit model, we then show you how it's incorrect. That's the point of this.
Yeah, I just want you to know that Globers don't do that to you. There's no reason to, or...
Yeah, of course
your own just because you're unaware of your own delusion doesn't mean that you're not trying to trick me. The fact that you're unaware that you're part of a trick doesn't matter.
Can't subconsciously trick
hang
someone.
On. Dawn, let me ask you this. Do you believe that, honestly, do you believe that there's a Tesla Roadster in space?
I'm skeptical of that.
What are you talking about? There is in your world.
70%, 60-70% chance.
Selective skepticism is part of that rocket program that you believe has put you on the moon, showed you pictures of space. Yeah, that particular part, oh no, well that looks like a load of old crap, so I'll just ignore that. No, that's part of your world, my friend. Accept it all.
Dawn, do you realise that you've got to accept that there is a Tesla Roadster in space?
Why? That doesn't have
yummy,
anything to do with the
delicious
shape
nonsense, Dawn. Gobble it down, my friend. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Yum,
that
yum,
doesn't,
yum.
That doesn't affect the shape of the Earth, does it? If
yeah,
you
it
look
does.
up
well,
the,
Dawn, what I'm saying,
it does,
Dawn,
because
look up the definition of perspective,
and SpaceX
and it does not
and
include
NASA,
things getting obstructed from the bottom.
Dawn,
yeah, it does
Dawn,
affect it. Your evidence comes from these sources. When you reference your scientific proof, and it's a bloody photo from NASA, how do you think that looks when it turns out that all of their subsidiaries, the people that they have control over, i.e. SpaceX, are faking it?
It doesn't affect the shape of the Earth.
It does. The shape of the Earth is presented to you by these agencies. Hold on, we got.
Dawn, I
I'm
do
on it.
agree it doesn't
I'm on
affect
it.
the shape of the
Hello,
Earth.
Linda.
But I was referencing the point that you made, which was people don't set out to deceive us.
Right.
But they do.
Okay, yes, I get your point. Maybe some people do, but not the Globers that you argue with.
Yeah, they do.
They don't trick you into believing the globe. They're talking about what they observe and what they've
That's the
learned.
whole
no
thing about
excuse.
religious belief.
Ignorance
If
is
you
no
can fool
excuse.
yourself into believing it, then you will unwittingly try to fool others into believing the same lies that you do.
Right.
That's the whole point.
Being
No,
an unwitting, just
that's
being an
what you
unwitting
do.
participant doesn't absolve you of any guilt. I feel tremendously guilty having told my niece all about space and planets and got her to look up at them and all that kind of crap. I felt tremendously guilty. I've perpetuated the lie.
You felt guilty
Yeah,
for
I
helping
did.
your niece look
Yeah,
through a
filling
telescope.
her mind with nonsense. Yeah.
It's not nonsense that's there.
Yeah, to
You
you,
look through a
just
telescope
because
and
you
see it.
accept it, you feel it's okay to brainwash
You
it.
see
So
lights.
if the Christians that are out there that have got their closed little tight communities, some of them incestuous, and they all believe that what they're doing is perfectly acceptable, and they close the community out to the outside world, and they all amongst themselves say, well, we all believe this is fine. And someone comes along and says, well, actually, it's very wrong. Well, no, consensus in this little tiny group is that what we're doing and how we brainwash is perfectly acceptable. Well, you're doing the same thing because you're part of that group. Doesn't excuse what you're doing.
Yeah, but if I try and convince you of what perspective does, like I can read the actual definition, whereas you lot have to make up a definition
That's
and
not what you
change
do,
the word.
Dawn. What you did last
But
time
hang
we
on,
had this conversation.
even if that's true, you have to accept that there is no science for a flat Earth, though, right? That's why we have this dirty air layer, because there is no science. So what are we expected to do?
Well, you have to make up stuff. That's what's happening.
There you
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. This is where it boils down to. You've had
Vanishing
2,000
zone.
years to provide scientific proof of the world you say we live in. We have had, me personally, 3 years. And I'm not a scientist. I deliver groceries and make YouTube videos. So to ask me to go out and prove that the Earth's a sphere, which is what we get asked, go and do this, that and the other with a theodolite. That's what we get told to do. Well, I'm not a scientist, but you have had 2,000 years of globe understanding, and yet there is no scientific proof of Earth curvature. That's very disturbing, or should be, for you.
I think there is scientific proof. You just don't recognise it.
Right.
Well, bring it then.
No, there
bring
isn't.
It then.
Dawn. No. We don't need to have this conversation. Not the rumpus, where he's suddenly going to obfuscate and pretend he's got something, and we have to pick it apart.
Do you want
Dawn, I
signposts?
can just
on the
assert
lake?
this to you, my friend.
To be
Dawn.
fair to
Do you
Dawn,
want
I
do you
can
want a laser
understand
shooting
what
Let me just make it
into
as an
the
assertion
helicopter?
to Dawn.
What type of scientific
Dawn doesn't have to
measurable
like
curvature
this,
do you
but
want?
he's going to get it asserted to him. Dawn, there is no scientific proof of your spinning ball religion.
Well, I recently watched Flat Earth Core try and prove the Earth was flat.
Try and
£50,000
prove.
laser.
You don't seem to be listening, Dawn, right? I'll say it again. There's been 2,000 years of globe understanding. So going out and doing things going forward isn't the point here. Yeah, you can tell us to go out and do stuff left, right and centre to prove to ourselves that it's a bloody globe. Our point is simple. There has been 2,000 years of globe understanding, and yet there is no scientific proof of your spinning ball religion. None. Zero. Nada.
Well, like, I mean, science doesn't really prove anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It does.
What do you want?
No, it doesn't. What does science prove? Science doesn't. It's impossible to prove anything. You can't.
That's what
prove
science
anything.
is. It's setting out to prove things.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Well, Brenda von Assen reckons that science can't prove anything, which I don't agree with.
What do you want,
Well, that's
Nathan?
because you're uneducated.
To be
We want the
satisfied,
curve.
Nathan. What do you want? Do you want signposts across
Nothing.
a lake?
I'm happy. Totally satisfied. And I recognise the obvious of the world that's around me, Dawn. I don't need anything.
So you don't want any measurable proof of curvature. You just keep stating that
There
there
isn't
none.
any. I'll say it again. There isn't any. There's none. It doesn't exist. Do you understand that, Dawn? It's not like I'm expecting you to now come up with an experiment that's scientific in nature to prove it. 2,000 years have elapsed. We're all under the understanding that we're on a globe, and yet there is no scientific proof of this.
How about the Stephen
There's no
Hawking
scientific
documentary?
proof. Okay,
The
name
Stephen
one
Hawking
thing that is scientifically
documentary.
proven, please.
Oh,
Name
I'll
one thing
just
that is
look at
scientifically
Discovery
proven.
Channel.
Because
That's what I'll do
science
for
does
my
not prove. It's impossible to prove anything. Science just provides
No, that's
strong evidence
ridiculous.
for their scientific
No,
theories.
come on, P. Mars. That's ridiculous. You know that.
Why is
Without-
that ridiculous? Name something that science has proven. Because science does not prove anything. It just provides evidence
Basic
for their
laws
theories.
of
So
physics.
what are you talking about?
That's how it was figured out. Electronics, all of that stuff is based on
Y'all
scientific
ignorant of
method
science.
figuring out how the elements and how matter works. That is science. That's based on scientific experimentation and chemistry, all that type of things, like
It's
real,
impossible to prove
tangible,
anything, Arwen.
repeatable science.
Yeah, but it's
That's how you
impossible to
develop things.
prove anything. It hasn't proven anything ever.
It has proven
Never.
how it works.
It has never proven one thing in its entire history. All it does
Yes,
is
it
provide
does. It
evidence for
proves
its
how
theories.
things
Why would you
work.
expect scientific proof if it's never proven anything? Don't be a moron.
No, but you're the
Okay.
one that says that. We're not saying
Hang on,
that it
let's-
doesn't.
No,
let's flip
I'm
that
not.
on its
That's
head.
what
saying there
science
is
is.
no
I know what science.
scientific
You guys have
proof
no
of
idea
the
what
globe.
science is. If you
We're not
expect
saying
me
that
to prove
science
things.
never works. It
PMARS,
just fails.
let's
What
for the
else?
sake of discussion, let's just agree that science can't prove anything. If you apply that
What do
logic,
you mean
then how
sake of
can you
discussion? That's the
believe that we
truth.
live on a ball?
Science cannot prove anything. It has never proven anything, one thing ever. Ever.
No,
All it does
that's
is
wrong.
provide
Why do you
evidence
say
for
that?
a scientific
That's
theory.
incorrect.
Nath, just check the masturbators group thing in Skype. But PMARS, why do you think that science can't prove anything?
Because I read articles about science. And I'm not an
So
idiot.
what value has science got to us if it can't prove
So
anything?
science
It
proves
provides
that
evidence
science
for its
doesn't
theories.
prove anything. I think
It
you've been
doesn't
reading
prove
into
it.
the wrong science, dude.
Oh, yeah? Well, why don't you prove me wrong? All right? Show me one thing science has proven, and then I will shut up and you are right.
Well, it depends on what viewpoint you take. But if you're a baller, science, you guys believe that we live on a ball based on the pictures from space or whatever nonsense that you
Right.
believe. So your science is
Pictures
whatever
from
material.
space is strong evidence that we live on a ball. It's not proof. It's strong evidence. We can
No, it's
provide
not.
strong evidence that we live on a sphere all day. You
It'd
can
be strong
provide
evidence
no
if we
strong
could repeat
evidence
it.
that
It's
the
It's
Earth
not
is
strong
flat.
evidence, because you can't
Also,
repeat it.
we don't have to prove anything because science
Can't
doesn't
repeat it,
prove
Pete.
anything.
But you can't
So
repeat those
you got
pictures.
nothing.
So,
Now,
P,
you're retreating into complete solipsism
the
and
strong
nihilism.
evidence
PMARS.
requires
This
it
is
to have
ridiculous.
an element of
Yeah, I agree.
repeatability.
Solipsism is what's happening right now.
Yeah,
just
there
let me
is a
just
lot of
spell it out
credibility
though.
for the
So
pictures,
P,
like
you know,
especially
we've
the Himawari satellite.
you guys accuse us, right, who've got totally different jobs, non-scientific backgrounds, all of us, right? You lay the burden on our doorstep. So we go out and we take photos. So Ranty takes a picture and Anthony takes a picture. Two individuals, different people, different cameras, different days. So an observation is repeated. You're saying strong evidence is a single image, which you cannot repeat. Why would you take that as strong evidence?
I mean, if I see a photograph of the Earth and it's a sphere, I mean, that's strong evidence to me because it's a picture of the Earth.
What
and
about
it's
if
a
the
sphere.
strong evidence
Why don't
was
you
a
repeat
picture of the Earth and it's a banana?
Or a
Yeah,
parrot.
then I'd believe it's a banana.
Okay.
Well,
So you just believe whatever you present
strong
with.
Space-
scientific
space photo
evidence
is
is
much
evidence
stronger
that
evidence
you
than a
can
Randy
confirm, that you
picture
can
of a
personally
Riley video.
repeat. That's what makes it
I
strong.
accept photographs as evidence.
That
of
it's very cool or that you are very easily convinced that it is proof. Actual scientific proof is based on being able to repeat the experiments yourself to confirm that it does work that way. That is about.
So we have approximately 30 minutes left on this live stream. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and a link in the info box below this video once the video has rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you're currently watching, then click the link in the info box to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. Please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the same stream. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show, as this increases the chances of a more diverse panel by increasing the live audience. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. There is approximately 30 minutes left on this live stream.
It's
like
read the article.
nihilism.
Reality. Well, you just have good educate. You can justify your belief. You can't prove. You can justify your belief. You can have a justified belief. It's the best you got. It says reality is a complicated place. All we have to guide us from an empirical point of view are the qualities we can measure and observe. Even at that, those qualities are only as good as the tools and equipment we use to make those observations and measurements. Distances and sizes are only good as the measuring sticks you have access to. Brightness measurements are only as good as your ability to count and quantify photons. Even time itself is only known as well as the clock you have to measure its passage. No matter how good our measurements and observations are, there's a limit to how good they are. He says we can't. We also can't observe or measure everything. Even if the universe weren't subject to the fundamental quantum rules that govern it, along with all its inherent uncertainty, it wouldn't be possible to measure every state of every particle under every condition all the time. At some point, we have to extrapolate. This is an incredibly powerful and incredibly useful, but also incredibly limiting.
But do you agree that we can measure curvature?
Now, I'd like to respond to this thing that P. Morris has talked about. That is correct. And that's why when you actually try to prove something scientifically, you have to limit the scope of what you're trying to prove. You have to limit it to things that are very close by, that you can be certain of, that can be repeated. It's when you draw all these kinds of far-stretching conclusions as to the foundations of where it's coming from, of what is out there, far beyond our scope, far beyond how small things we can see. When you start to draw in these conclusions, theoretical, drafted on conclusions onto that scientific concept, that's where you start to enter science fiction. And that's when you actually progress in science and technology, start to figure out that those
the hologram sun and the
fundamental
simulation
theories
sky,
are actually flawed. But the actual experiments that can be repeated, that are limited in their scope, that's real science because it works.
Isle of Man
That's
shoreline
what it is.
observations. That's real science.
Yeah, but real science doesn't prove it. Like, I couldn't even prove I exist to you guys right now. I couldn't even do that. There's no way. So all science can do is justify your belief, give you evidence to justify your belief. That's all it's about. So I can justify my belief in the sphere with evidence. If I try to,
when
like,
we ask
say
for
the Earth is
scientific
flat,
proof of Earth curvature and none is provided, we're saying there is very little justification for your belief. Exactly, mate. P.
There's lots. Though.
No, there's tons of scientific
rotation in the sky.
evidence.
2 points of
Yeah,
rotation.
but how
in the sky.
credible is the evidence, right? I mean, we can see that Father Christmas is real. We can see pictures of him. We can see real photographs in shopping precincts all over the world. But does that mean that it's true?
I believe.
You're comparing a fictional character to observations we can take and measure.
No, Father Christmas is real, P. Mars. He's not fictional.
But I never hear him come down the chimney because I don't have a
like,
chimney. So I think that
So
counts
you're
him
saying
out.
that Father Christmas is not real?
You couldn't really
Might be
justify
people
your
that
belief in
think that
Father
they have
Christmas.
heard him come down.
Hang on.
Also,
Why
I've
would you say
seen my
Father
parents
Christmas is
put the
not real? I
presents
can
down,
prove
so
to you that
also
he
counts him
exists.
out.
I can
Show
give
me
you
a picture
schematics
of a
what he's
guy
supposed to look
flying
like.
a sleigh driven by reindeer. I might believe it is real.
Show you a picture of what?
video
Mars?
footage of a sleigh through the sky.
I can get you that, no problem.
Oh yeah, I can do that. I can do that.
No worries. Easy.
Let's get that on screen.
Cool, yeah. You want it,
If you get it before
Anthony?
me, Nate, you may as well present.
No,
but
you,
I'll see if you get one.
if you can get it up, I'll present you.
Right, so just a quick search on Google. All right, so I need to do this on Skype now, don't I? Bear with me. Getting back to my screen. Present, share screens and sounds, minimize. All right, so I've just done a quick search for video footage of Santa, and here is the first video that I see. Father Christmas is caught on CCTV somewhere. So let's see what this is all about.
Hold on,
There we go.
I've shared the wrong
There he
screen.
is.
Well, hold on, I've shared the wrong screen. Just one sec.
Capture laptop here.
Let me know.
Yep, you're up.
So I've just done a quick search on Google for video footage of Santa, and I've found real actual Christmas photos, videos. So this is like the ISS, right, guys?
Here's I'm
You ready?
on this forward
It's on
Mute the sound.
CCTV, man. You can't fake this. This is real.
There you go. This is like the ISS footage for us. This is real Father Christmas putting presents in. I mean, I didn't show him actually coming down the chimney, but I mean, you can deduce from this that he's real, right?
And the dog saw it.
You can even... The dog is responding. He's not CGI.
Yeah.
And he's not attacked him, so he knows he's not a burglar. And the lights and the shadows are all
flying
consistent.
along with the reindeer on the sleigh.
Are you telling
You
me
want me
that
to
wasn't
find a reindeer picture?
Are you saying that was a fake man? You saying he wasn't really there, Dawn?
No.
I think that's the dad of the family, yeah.
You got any proof of that?
Well, it looks like a home video. I don't think
there's some reindeer footage.
that careless.
Oh, look, here we go. There he is. What you want? Proven.
There you go.
Video
There's
footage.
there's reindeers being fed. There you go. There's the little elves, I guess. I don't know who these are. These are real pictures, right?
So we have more evidence for Santa than we do for Flat Earth.
No. What do you mean evidence?
You could,
for
you
the
could
globe?
argue that as well. No.
Well, we
argue
have
that.
pictures of Santa, but we don't have pictures of Flat Earth.
Yeah.
That's very
you're
true.
Right. You're right.
No,
Pete.
we only have
So-
pictures of flat Earth, really.
We've
Except for
established
NASA
Santa has more credibility than Flat Earth.
Yeah. If you want to
That's
look at it
so
that way,
No,
Pete.
is there anything
all
we-
pictures are flat Earth.
Is there anything else that you want to
That
check with regards to Santa? Santa,
Yeah, look
let's
up
say
flying humanoids. Maybe
over
there's some videos
America.
we can find him flying.
Let's see if we can see. There you go. There's a silhouette of Santa flying
These
across
are-
America.
These are cartoons.
There you go. It's a real picture. That.
It's a depiction. You know what depiction is, right? Like we get from the rockets. It's just a depiction. It doesn't mean it's fake.
There's a-
It's just
Well, there's a real
CGI.
image.
Wow, that looks
Ah,
just
this
as
is
real as the
rendering.
satellite pictures.
Yeah, look, there's a real moon, and that's clearly real.
Yeah, that makes it all real.
Yeah.
There's Santa.
So, I mean,
Can you see him?
I don't
Pete?
see the problem. Oh, look at that. That looks like 9/11, doesn't it? I mean, that's clear as sin. That is. You can even
Yeah.
see his head.
Yeah.
I mean, see, like I'm more willing to believe in Santa Claus than the Flat Earth because you have pictures. If
But
you
that's-
have
that-
provide
I was going to
pictures
address
of the
that,
Flat
Pete.
Earth,
So you say it's
then
more
you're
credible
making a
than
better
Flat
case
Earth.
for yourself.
Right, correct, P, because everyone's precognition, yours included, is that every picture's of a globe. You said, we can see the curve, I see the curve in pictures. So in your world, Santa's got more credibility than Flat Earth, because there's more visual evidence. This is very telling. So it's not about what's proven, what's justified, what's in your actual world around you, it's how much credible evidence there is. Well, therefore, yeah, in your world, Santa seems likely.
I mean, I
And
think
to be
more
honest,
people
there's
believe
a
in
picture
Santa
from
than
space of
Flat
Santa.
Earth, so.
That
Yeah.
proves
There's a
both
picture.
there, right? You got curve and Santa right in the same picture. Do you see that? Pete?
Yeah. And it's a picture from space. Your most
That
credible
proves
evidence,
both
right?
theories, man. Double
There you
whammy.
go.
We're screwed. We're
No
shutting it
Flat Earth,
down.
though,
That's it. Game
unfortunately.
over. Proof positive. The Earth's a curve, and right there's Santa. I'm sold.
If
Delivering
someone's like,
presents.
how can you justify your belief in Santa? I can provide them a picture.
Right. So that's what we do. We go out and provide
You
pictures.
don't have
No,
any
we don't have
pictures of the
scientific
Flat
proof.
Earth. You have
No,
pictures
it's
of the
not
globe.
accepted that all pictures are a flat Earth. We're asserting that. That's
You haven't
what we're
shown
doing.
any. You,
But we're
all the
asking
evidence you've
for-
shown
Mars,
is
you haven't
globular.
shown
Yeah,
any
I'm sorry, there's
You
been no
have
credible
not
flat
taken
evidence
any
as yet.
pictures of a
All
globe
right,
Earth
so let's
Mars.
just level
That's
up for
a
Dawn.
lie.
So Dawn said there's no credible evidence of flat Earth, right? So in terms of what P's standard is, picture from government agency, appeal to authority, white coat man provides you a picture of the Earth from space. That's credible. That's worthy evidence. However, we take a picture of the same lighthouse under different conditions on a different day from two different cameras. That is repeatable evidence that doesn't show any curvature. None. Zero.
It does. The
It
whole
does.
thing-
No, no,
all
no,
your
no, no, no,
Look,
no, no, no,
Nathan,
no, no. It's been modelled
Nathan, can I
from
just
left
ask you,
to
is this the
right.
International Space Station or
There
is
is
it Santa?
no. Hold on, Anthony. There's no curvature, Dawn. So in the model and in the picture, the camera is slightly askew, so it's not on a perfect level. But there's no curve. None. Zero. Nada. There should be. That was part of the demonstration we did. QED, obviously and observably flat. As you rotate the camera through the image, there's no curve demonstrated. Zero. Now, P thinks that all these pictures have got curve. Now, the fact is that a camera's set up, you zoom out, you look out in the distance 30 miles away, and you pan the camera, you should see some curvature. You don't. It's not there.
And you should see island, but
not only is it not there, you can repeat the observation, unlike the NASA observation that P takes as very strong evidence because it's of a ball, therefore confirming what he believes already. So strong evidence there. What
You
we
honestly
show
think the Isle of
is
Man
repeatable
observations
observations of the Earth being flat,
space
Dawn.
photo?
Why would you do this, man? I've had your toes to the fire on this. Repeatable observations of a flat Earth with no curve, Dawn.
Nathan, are you still seeing my screen?
Hold on, no. I want to hold his toes to the fire. I'm not going to shout, where's the curve at him, but I'll ask him politely, Dawn. Where's the curve, Dawn?
I think there's curvature in the Isle of Man observations.
Oh, do you want to show us? Take us to it. Maybe Anthony will be kind enough to bring it up.
I find the
us.
observations really bad. Like, you can't tell much, but you can tell there's no beach.
So it's not possible for you to take us to it. It's a terrible image, not demonstratable, even though it's been modelled in 3D, referenced, cross-referenced, picked apart. You can't do it because it's too poor an image. Okay, Dawn. Nice try.
I just disagree, that's all.
Just accept what I say then, Dawn, because that's what you people like to do.
Is there,
Somebody who seems all like they're in authority tells you and you accept it. So I'll tell you, Dawn, there is no curve in those images. None.
Why can't we see Ireland or the beach then?
There's a slight amount of obstruction that we are trying to, as flat earthers, with no science behind us whatsoever, because it's all geared towards globe belief and globe dogma and globe religious understanding. We have no science, but we're trying to figure out what happens at the horizon, where there is refraction and distortion and things going on that are evidenced. That's what we're doing. You, in the meantime, same as Ruhif, are happy to do calculations on apparitions and mirages. Things that aren't really there. They've gone behind the curve, right, Dawn? Coming back, being brought back, right? Not there. That's what you're talking about. In your world of apparitions and mirages and things that aren't really there, you're happy to do mathematical calculations on this nonsense to support your globe dogma and your globe belief and your globe spinning ball religion.
The globe goes further than refraction observations.
All right. Well, not in my world.
No, it really doesn't.
Flat plane.
Sun sets every night. Last night I went to bed. It was pitch black where I am.
Oh, there we go with the heavenly bodies.
It
proves everything.
Intangible objects, Dawn. Have you ever touched the sun? What is it? Where is it? How far is it? How big is it? What's it made of?
Object. It's not an argument. It goes behind the Earth and
What's
it goes
it made
dark.
of? How do you know? How have you checked? When have you been there?
When have I been to the sun? I don't need to go to the sun. I watch it go under the horizon.
Oh, you do need to go.
Observe
to
it only. Observations only, right?
Yeah, the observation tells me. Yes.
No. So, like NASA, I say you can't go out and repeat the observation that NASA present you with. This globe that they put on your screen and tell you is real. You can't repeat that. You can absolutely unequivocally go to the Isle of Man. You can unequivocally go to St. Bees and take the picture again. These things are repeatable in our world. They're tangible.
2 points of rotation in the sky. Perfectly explained by spinning globe.
Yeah, it's the globe of the heavens.
So, like with the sun, have you touched the stars? Do you know what they are?
You don't need to touch them.
Do you know where they are?
There's 2 points of rotation in the sky. That does not work on a flat Earth model.
Yeah, no, it does. It does work.
No, it doesn't, Owen. It doesn't.
Yes, it works perfectly. It's called the
No,
globe
it
of the
doesn't.
heavens. It's a holographic phenomena.
Garbage.
And the
Garbage.
angular relations of the
celestial
positions
dome.
of the stars
All
on the globe
All
of the
he's
heavens
done is
relates
obfuscated
to
the
the
points
Earth's
that we've made
positions,
and gone to the
that's
heavenly bodies, which is
The
all
solar
we're ever gonna do.
eclipse. Impossible on a flat Earth unless you invoke Rahu.
Impossible on a flat Earth. This is back to the same shite argument that Rufif had. Let's see
So
how
what do
it
you
wouldn't
what do you
work
think
on a
happens
flat
on a
Earth.
solar eclipse?
Rather than you understanding, why
What's
is
that
it
big
celestial
moon-shaped thing
phenomena
that goes in
happen?
front of the sun?
Why
It's
is it that
part
so
of
few
the
of you
globe of
will
the
accept this
heavens.
point
It's
and
a
go,
system.
yeah, that seems weird. Seems weird that there's no scientific proof of this. It seems weird that the scientific proof, the thing that all the guys who we rally around like rumpus, you'd think those guys would have it bang straight away in your face. Of course it's a globe. Here's the scientific proof of it. Yet you guys dance around that and start telling us how things wouldn't work on a flat plane. You don't seem
Do you want me
too
to bring up the
concerned
Stephen
about it.
Hawking documentary
Why are
where
you
he fires a
concerned
laser
about it?
straight into the lake and the
Why are you
helicopter's
concerned
behind a
about it?
wall of water?
Why is it all about us going out and doing stuff going forward? Doesn't that worry you that you can't go and pull something out of a drawer and just slap it around my face and go, you're an idiot, here's proof from a scientist. It's followed the scientific method. You're an idiot. Why doesn't it concern you that you don't have this after 2,000 years, Dawn?
Did you hear me about the Stephen Hawking documentary?
Stephen Hawking, who cares? Some guy on TV.
He fired a laser at a helicopter and it hit the water. while the
Dawn.
helicopter was like 60 feet off the ground, behind a wall of lake.
Dawn.
Is that just fake? Were they tricking everyone?
I saw Superman fly around the globe, Dawn.
Yeah,
Did
because
it? It was
that's really
glorious.
similar.
At one point, he made time go backwards. I saw it on TV. It was amazing. Proof,
I don't really
positive. Go
trust
and watch
Stephen
the film.
Hawking as a
They all
great
have
source.
globes at the
The
beginning,
guy's
Dawn.
probably been dead for 20 years, so anything that has to do with him in
Yeah,
the last
because
couple
that
of
makes
20
sense,
years
Owen, yeah.
is prone to fakery and globe trickery. Because that's what he's been writing about ever since he really died.
Dawn wants to
Before
believe
that
everything
time,
he
he
sees on
was not
TV. It's fine.
really into that stuff. He was more into actual physics. He was very smart, brilliant man, and then he probably died, and they brought out a wheelchair puppet that started to talk about the stars and globes and black holes,
Hey, Jeffrey.
which he really
can you hear
didn't
us?
do that
Hello.
much before that
Good to have
time.
you.
Why do you think that is?
So you're looking for evidence from the last 2,000 years?
No, we're looking for evidence that satisfies the scientific method, which is verifiable, repeatable, observable.
But then why was Nathan making a complaint about things that we could do now?
Yeah, I was saying that you should have scientific proof of Earth curve / spinning ball religion. That should be in abundance after 2,000 years of understanding, but it isn't.
Right, but when we try to provide evidence that other people have gathered, then you tell us that we need to be able to reproduce those
Right,
things.
evidence-
So why is it bad
Yeah,
for us
that-
to say
that
that there's
is what-
something we
And
can do right now?
scientific proof
Evidence
aren't the
is.
same thing, right? So Anthony just explained adherence to the scientific method and evidence don't apply. Now, if you feel I am unjust or hypocritical for saying that when you ask me to provide you with scientific proof, bearing in mind that I'm a delivery driver who has a
I haven't
YouTube
asked you
channel
to
and
do-
has looked at this for the last 3 years, that is not a fair comparison when I ask
I
you...
haven't asked you to do that, and I haven't made that comparison.
Plenty of people are asking me to provide scientific
I'm not
proof.
plenty of people.
All right, well, my argument ad populum is fine. I'm allowed to get away with it. Anyway, lots of people have levelled it at my doorstep that I should, as a flat earther, provide scientific proof. And I'm asking you to provide me with it based on your 2,000-year understanding that we live on a spinning sphere.
I don't have 2,000 years of understanding.
No, the spinning ball religion has had 2,000 years of understanding amongst mankind. Far more than I have with my limited amount of time and understanding of this problem. The problem being that there's been 2,000 years of understanding and there is no scientific proof of that spinning ball religion.
There is lots, endless.
No, there isn't.
What would count as scientific proof to you? Can you give an example of something that would prove...
Adherence to the scientific method.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
but
can you
the
give
problem-
an example?
the
Can you give an
problem is-
example?
Even if you do an
Log-
experiment and get
okay.
the same results a million times, it doesn't mean 100% that you will get the same results on the millionth and one time you do the experiment. There's like no,
no,
way
just
to prove
once.
it.
Just being able to repeat it once, which is actually
Uh,
not
no,
a
you need to be
lab
able to
coat
repeat something more
scientist,
than
not
once.
a NASA guy taking a picture from space and then telling you, oh, this is it, without you actually being able to confirm that or repeat it yourself.
Precisely. So when we're presented with a picture, it absolutely doesn't in any way correspond with scientific proof. It doesn't adhere to the scientific method. It isn't proof of anything. It's just a photograph.
Okay, and
Apparently,
the same
a
thing could be
photograph.
said about the photographs that you provide. So I'll ask again, what would count
But
to
you
you
can
as
repeat those. You
scientific
can go
proof?
to that location
Why are
and
you
then
asking
repeat
me?
the same
You
process.
present it and I'll have
And
a
of
look
course
at it.
that
What have
has
you got,
happened.
Jeffrey? Jeffrey, what have you got? Show us and
You
we'll have a
didn't-
little look at it,
No, you
mate.
didn't answer my question to you
No,
first.
I
which
don't
is
want
what
you to
would
ask me
qualify?
what
would
qualifies
count?
as scientific proof. I'm not interested in you asking me to tell you what I'd accept. I've told you. It would adhere
No, you haven't.
to... Well, let me repeat it then. It would adhere to the scientific method. So, what have you got?
But according to your friend Quantum Eraser, this is not a question that can be answered by the scientific method because this is a what is, not a why is or a how is. So aren't you being disingenuous by asking for
It's a lot of meta
scientific method
bullshit,
proof?
dude.
No,
It's a lot of
not in
meta
the
talk.
slightest.
Well, then what was the point of Quantum Eraser's hour-long spiel about how this is not a question that can be resolved by the scientific method?
Because exactly that. That is in itself the point. You can't provide scientific proof of Earth curvature.
Well, then you can't prove scientific proof of Earth flatness.
Correct.
Okay, then this channel should be done.
No, here we are with you still believing you're on a spinning ball, regardless of the obvious and observable nature of our reality.
And Anthony has not yet been able to explain why I can't go from north to south on a straight line and observe that there's a second celestial pole of stars.
North to south, that's a conceptual idea based on magnetic fields, right?
It's not based on magnetic fields. I can know what direction north is without a magnet.
Right, so are you talking about taking direct lines somewhere or following a bearing?
He's talking about the pole star positions and all that.
I'm talking about facing north, turning around 180 degrees,
North
and going a
is
straight line
concept
south.
based on magnetic fields. I've just said this.
I don't need a magnetic field, and
So
I
why are
don't
you
need a
referencing
compass
north?
to know which
What's
way
north?
is north.
So what's north?
North is where Polaris is.
Oh, so you're following a star?
Yes, that's how people did it for hundreds and thousands of
So
years.
what? Do you think I care about what people did for hundreds of years? You're following a star.
Yes,
just
you
told
did.
me
You
north.
do care
I've
what
pointed
people
out
done
you're
for
not
hundreds
going
of years
north.
because you just
Now
asked for
you're
evidence from the
following a
last 2,000
star. You're following a star, mate. That's what you're doing.
You just asked for evidence from the last 2,000 years, and now you're telling me that I
What,
can't
people
follow a star,
following
something that people
stars?
have done for thousands of
Yeah,
years?
people did that in the Bible too. People followed stars in the Bible. Should I believe every word they said in there?
That's a completely irrelevant point. You
People
just asked
followed
for evidence
stars
from
in the
last
Bible,
2,000
and
years.
you're telling me that I can follow a star, you muppet.
Can you tell me why I can't follow a star?
You can do whatever you like, you moron. You can go round wandering around following stars all you like and believing it proves you're on a spinning ball.
I didn't say this proves I'm on a spinning ball. All I said is that I can prove that there's a second celestial pole of stars. I didn't say anything about a globe.
So what?
Oh, good for you.
Good for you.
So that kills flat Earth. That's
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Dawn.
It just proves that you can navigate
Try and explain the 2
world,
points of
whatever
rotation
its
now.
shape may be, using the globe
Don't
of
let
the
Owen do
heavens
it.
and
You
their
try next.
angular positions, which do actually relate to the Earth position. Does not
I've
prove
said this
a
many
ball.
times. Owen's the only
It
one that
doesn't-
can explain the
It
sky for
just
you guys.
proves that the globe of the heavens that we can all observe at night has a relation to the Earth position. That's it.
How do you explain a second point of rotation, Owen?
These stars aren't the Earth, Dawn.
I didn't
No,
say
but
stars.
they show the shape and the movement.
No, they don't.
Where did Anthony go? Did
do.
Anthony
Know what the stars do.
No, they show
It
that the
deduced the
globe of
shape
the
and the
heavens is a
movement.
globe shape. That's what they prove. And that it rotates as you move on the Earth.
Right, I am here. Could you share my screen? I'll just address Dawn with the stars because I don't think Dawn gets how it can be interpreted both ways. Nath, let me know when everybody can see.
Yeah, you're up.
Right, so Dawn, if we have two observers in the south and we see like the rotation point in the south, that's a rotation point for the purposes of the illustration. If there was another rotation point down there and there's another one up at the top, why can it not be based on a flat plane the way that you see? That's a perfect interpretation of what we can see. But in addition to, but not limited to, when you look up at the rotation points in the stars, we see that basically we see concentric circles. Now they can be interpreted in numerous ways. Firstly, they could be flat, like a record on the sky. So we could be looking at the inside of a flat plane. We could be looking down a tube. We could be looking literally down a tunnel.
So you're theorizing two flat records or two tubes.
No,
And
when we see the
south one is
rotation point
different
in the
for
night
every
sky,
southern observer.
it can be interpreted by two different ways. It can be flat, or it can be looking down a tunnel, or it can be looking down the outside of the tube.
You need two sets of flat stars and two sets of tunnels. Like, how do you
There's
explain
one
that?
set,
Why would
and
why would
there's
that
the other
be?
one.
Why would there be
There's one
two
set.
tunnels of stars above a flat Earth spinning round opposite?
Say that again.
Why would there be two tunnels of stars above your flat Earth?
Why would the lights be 93 million miles away when it looks really close? There's all sorts of questions that go
Doesn't
along with
look
these
really
conceptual
close. They're
ideas,
tiny
Dawn.
flickers in the
You've
sky.
just said
How
it
does that
can't be
look close?
explained. It can be explained, but you don't like the concept. Yeah, well, so what? Who cares?
Are you going to go with the concept of two tunnels?
No,
above
we're just
flat
saying
Earth?
that it can be explained. I don't believe any of this
That's not an
nonsense because I've got no
explanation. That's
idea what these
saying, oh,
intangible objects are, Dawn. I've got zero clue what any of it really is. Has it got a conceptual explanation from various different viewpoints? Yes. Do I accept any of them unequivocally? No. But you can explain it. That's all we're demonstrating.
No, that's not an explanation.
Yes, it
No,
is.
it
That's
isn't.
precisely what it is. That's
It's
what
not.
an
It's just saying,
explanation
oh, the
is.
shape could be this, but
Doesn't
I've got
mean
no
it's
idea
real.
why.
Doesn't mean you have to tolerate it. It doesn't mean you have to accept it. It just means
What do you
there
think
is
is
an
more likely?
explanation.
2 tunnels of stars spinning opposite above a flat Earth, or a spinning globe within
Well,
It's not an either-or
a
situation
set of
here.
stars? What seems more
can't make-
logical?
You can't make.
You're drawing conclusions you shouldn't be drawing. You're basing this on fiction. Fictional interpretation of what
fiction.
that is. What it is.
Fiction.
You don't know what it is.
A
You
spinning
can't
globe
prove it.
explains
Don't
2
know what
points
it
of
is,
rotation in
Dawn.
the sky
I've
perfectly.
no idea what it is. They're intangible objects. Little lights in the sky is the only
Which
way you can describe
How
help
do you
us
know they're
compute
intangible?
the shape and the movement of
Oh,
Earth.
sorry. How do we know they're intangible? Have you been there? Have you
Yes.
touched them? Have you weighed them? Have you got any
No,
idea
no, no, no,
of
no.
what they are
I didn't
other
ask
than
how
what
do you
they
know that they're
do?
not tangible. I said, how did you know that they're intangible? If you've never been to them, then you don't know whether they're tangible or intangible. So you can't
That's
be
what
decided on the
tangible
matter.
and
Based-
intangible
based
means.
on the,
Whether or not I
available
can do
evidence.
that is the
Based on the
definition of
available-
being tangible or intangible. Whether or not I can actually fulfill that, that is whether or not it defines itself as being tangible. If I did it, it would automatically, by definition, be tangible. God,
I'm
what
fine
a
with the being-
ridiculous question. I've never heard anything so stupid in my entire life. Oh,
But can I also add to that? With regards to the tangibility of it, based on current evidence, we see that the lights that we see in the sky that we call the stars appear to be lights. They don't appear to be tangible planet things that you tell us that we can probably land a rocket on. They appear to be moving. They appear to be lucid, like fluid. They appear to be lights.
Disc-shaped.
Yeah, they appear to be lights. So unless we can see evidence of tangibility, and spectroscopy isn't some basically, I'm not even going to address the spectroscopy point, but unless you can prove that they're tangible, the only deduction we can make of the lights in the sky is that they are lights.
and with that, I'm going to say first and foremost, a massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. If you've not done so already, be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley and I will see you all in the next video.